postal worker speaking out about the mailman who sexually assaulted her on the job. She says the post office failed to protect her from an employee who had been accused of inappropriate sexual behavior in the past. Nightside investigative reporter Heidi Hemmett is here with more. Heidi?
Brenda Powell feels like she's been violated twice. First by the mailman who was charged and convicted of sexually assaulting her while they both worked at the Old Town Post Office in Fort Collins. And then by the U.S. Postal Service, who allowed an employee accused of sexual misconduct in the past to transfer to Fort Collins, where Brenda became a victim. What happened inside the post office might have stayed inside the post office.
I was scared to death every single day.
But Brenda Powell can't keep it inside any longer.
I really thought he was going to rape me.
The former mail carrier says she was sexually assaulted by fellow mail carrier Ruben Gonzalez at the Fort Collins post office.
Long heavy pinned him against the case and was groping me inside and outside of my clothes.
Well, there's an allegation.
We caught up with Gonzalez and he denied the allegation, but he was convicted of the crime and resigned from the post office.
After my assault, I cried every day.
But Brenda's pain soon turned to anger when she learned Gonzalez had been accused of sexual misconduct at the Vail post office before he transferred to her station.
My supervisor came into my case and said to me, I just want you to know that we found out that Ruben had assaulted someone previously, but because of the time frame, we can't use that.
According to pretrial documents, that supervisor admits he was aware of rumors that Gonzalez had been transferred from Vail because of a prior sexual assault complaint. He claims he did not investigate it any further because they were already in the process of removing Gonzalez from the Fort Collins branch. But our investigation confirms there were prior allegations against Gonzalez. According to an alleged victim here at the Vail post office, Gonzalez made unwanted sexual advances towards her and a second female postal worker. She says she never filed a formal complaint. That second postal worker is now deceased. But she says everyone at the Vail post office knew Gonzalez was, quote, a pig. The U.S. Post Office would not respond to our specific questions regarding prior complaints against Gonzalez, but sent us a statement which says Ms. Powell has filed a lawsuit against the U.S. Postal Service, which remains in litigation. The Postal Service does not comment on pending litigation. There's an allegation that you have done this before. Ruben Gonzalez is now working in Leadville. And he didn't want to talk to us either.
We just wanted to get your side.
Still, Brenda blames the post office for failing to protect her.
They allowed him to do what he did. Time after time after time.
She's exposing the crime because it may be the only way this former letter carrier can deliver justice.
They're hoping that if I speak up and I'm loud enough, that they will realize that they have to take care of their employees.
Brenda Powell continued to work for the post office for another few months after she was sexually assaulted, but it became too emotionally difficult for her. She's now receiving workers' comp and has filed a lawsuit against the U.S. Postal Service. A spokesperson says Powell is still officially considered a U.S. Postal Service employee, but despite all she's been through, she really just wants to help other women out there, let people know, hey, don't be,
afraid to come forward.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to come forward. Don't be afraid to speak out. I mean, she feels like it kind of ruined her career there.
Yeah.
But, now she has to move forward.
I'm curious, though, that happened 2 years ago.
Right.
Why has it taken her this long to go public with it?
Well, I think she was trying to keep it all quiet because of this lawsuit that was happening and that there were different settlements, settlement conferences and stuff going on to try to work out some kind of a deal. But it doesn't sound like any of these parties here are really interested in doing anything for her as far as she's concerned. And so she feels like her only recourse is to let people know about what happened to her there and why it was wrong.
Okay. Heidi, thanks.
This morning.